This is an introduction on the software program Entrain, and we try to make a simple program because we understood from many people that the previous software program Entrac was considered to be quite complicated. So we developed a new program called Entrain, which was more modern and very, as far as I think, very user-friendly. I understood from Mustafa that in the center all the settings were done. So that means all the equipment is allocated. So I also copied the gym, which is now in the center. So I clicked on all the units that are in the clinic. You see here they are yellow. And also I trust all the other settings have been done by Mustafa. So the physiotherapists who are in the clinic, the referring clinics, if they are there, that the indications are filled. These are my indications, but you can of course create yourself. If you want to add one, let's say COPD, whatever, you can add it, and it's listed immediately. Indications, we did this, sorry, physiotherapy clinic, and you can see here I put a picture of your clinic, but you can of course change that logo to any logo you want. You have the tools here. I don't think we will go into that now, because the client mode, I don't think that will be used, because client mode is if there is no physiotherapy in the training room, the patient can activate their own program by themselves. But I don't think that is one thing that will be done in the clinic. So I think everything for this I leave as it is, and I go to the actual program. So you see it here on the right, the two boxes, test, measurement, and training. These are basically the toolbox that you fill before you start with all the trainings. That makes your life easier. If you go to test and measurement, you can create your own favorites. I already made a few. Cardio short, Jordan back pain, knee pain, lower extremities, VO2 max. Basically, if you have a protocol that you use often in the clinic, you can make this program as a favorite. For example, I will make a new favorite. Let's say now let's call it, let me see, cardio long. And then you can choose from the toolboxes, strength equipment, cardio equipment, or a quick start. But let's say I will make a cardio long test, so I take the 12 minutes test, and let us do, let's say, a Cooper test. That are the two units I want to use in my cardio long test. So I save it, cardio long, and now you see here, cardio long. I can make another one. Let's say I just use COPD recently. Okay. Now what tools I can use to do a COPD test? Let us do the steep ramp test. I hope Niels will not hit me because choosing the wrong test for a certain disease, but I'm not a physio, so I hear everything is okay. So COPD test, in this case, is a steep ramp test. So, and then you can create as many tests as you want. You can also do a strength test, of course. For example, let me see, let's call it a new favorite. Let's say, strength test, quadriceps weakness, whatever. Then you go to strength test. Okay. Then I choose, let's say, the leg extension. You can identify either only the left leg, the right leg, or just both legs. And I want to do whatever, seated leg press. Okay, this is my training, my test protocol for quadriceps weakness. So, we made some tests and measurements. Then we can make also some training protocols. I already made a few, circuit training, like a Jordan knee pain protocol. Then this is then what I made. Okay, there's a pre-made protocol which makes your life in the next times much easier. If you have a patient with knee pain, you can choose this protocol for that patient. Then you don't have to click either in individual units and time and everything, because the protocol is ready for use. Here's a quadriceps. Oh, I already had quadriceps weakness also. And let's say template, whatever, circuit training. There's all prepared training protocols. And this too you can fill yourself. You can create, like Niels always says, your only problem is your lack of creativity in making training protocols or test measurement protocols. So if you fill these protocols, then basically you can forget this, or you don't have to use it every time. So if you have a new patient, you click on new patient, first name, let's say Niels. May I use your name, Niels? Yes, I may. Thank you. Cousin. His birthday is not that important, but he's from 56. He doesn't look like 64. Eh? His body height, how long? 184. And your weight, don't lie? 82. You don't look like 82. Sorry. 82?
All muscles.
All muscle, he says. Okay.
Body height.
Sorry. Okay. So, and then you can fill in, of course, as a clinic, you can decide yourself what you want to fill in more here. But for now, I leave it as it is. We save. Then you can choose indication. Now, let's say Niels has COPD. You can choose, okay, who's my therapist, Maxime, and the referring clinic if you want. And here you can put some remark like Niels is a very nice person. Oops. Or of course, more medical information or whatever you want to put there. Now you see here it's still empty because it's a new patient. If you click on save, two tabs will appear called test and training. So, but first, before you can make a training, you first must know what a patient can do. So we click on test, and now we can decide, okay, what do we want to test? We go to favorites, we click on the COPD, and this is as simple as it can get. And then you click on create test card. Now I put the card in, whoops, card in, loading chip card, remove the card, and now my chip card is ready. So you take the chip card, you put it in the bike, and the bike will recognize the card. It will welcome Niels as a patient and says this is a steep ramp test, and just follow the steps on the bike REA. Now, when the test is done, there will be a display on the device saying go to PC. So you go with the card. That all what has been done by Niels on the bike is stored on the card. You go back to the card reader, put it in, and all the data is read back into the patient's database. Now, because we don't have a unit here, and I could not do the actual test, I have to switch to a different patient to show you some test results, how that look like. I go to a patient, I go to choose test. And then you can see you will set test training. You get a new tab called test results. And then you see from that specific patient all the test results, what has been done over time. So this is of course many test results, but in Niels' case there will be only one. And in Niels' case there will be a test outcome with in this case with the bike REA. I said I don't have the extra data, but let's say a VO2 max test of Niels was here. Then you can see here all the data performed by Niels on the bike for this COPD test. And this is then the base value for all the trainings. Because all the trainings, strength training, cardio, are based either on heart rate or on the 1 repetition maximum. If I would do a test on strength training, then automatically the 1 repetition maximum formula is used, and I trust Niels talked about that last week. Right. Yeah. Now, if we get back to Niels, where is Niels? There is Niels, yeah. So we've done a test, then we go to training. So here we can create a training for Niels. We can, of course, the simple way, the fast way, pick one from the favorites. Can be anything, of course. Or you can make one yourself. Let's say go to the equipment toolbox, then you see the available equipment in your clinic. These are available in your clinic. So we say, okay, we want to have Niels on the bike. Then we say, okay, in this case, a resistance of 100 watts for 10 minutes. Now, Niels is a bit weak, so we say 50 watts and only for whatever 9 minutes.
Dit is goed even te zeggen over de warming up en de training.
Yeah. Sorry, Niels is asking something.
I'm just adding something. I just explained in the previous presentation about warming up, cooling down, and training. So maybe you explain the possibilities here.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, perfect. You can, of course, you can't start training right from the start. You have to do a warming up. So we can select what we select here to assign as a warming up, as a training, or as a cooling down. Now let's say it is 50 watts for 9 minutes. We use that as a warming up. We add it. And then we can, okay, then a training part. Let's say we go on the emotion. We will do, let's say, here you can see 55 to 65% of the heart rate max. In this case, you see the formula that Niels was using earlier today. This heart rate formula, heart rate max. If you don't want that, you can also, of course, go to manual settings, and then there's no heart rate. But heart rate is always interesting, of course.
By the manual settings, you can, for example, use a Carphone method.
That I don't know, because this is the first time I heard you about the Carphone method.
They know, because I explained that.
Okay, yeah.
And then you should do this for at least 20 to 30 minutes, otherwise...
Okay. We are flexible, the program is very flexible. And 5 seconds extra.
Yeah, good. Minimum.
And the maximum speed. And the maximum speed is if you do the, how you call that, the auto speed, if that is selected. Then if you go faster than the belt and you get closer to the sensor, then the belt will automatically speed up. In this case, up to a maximum of 8 kilometers per hour. You can also allow or restrict adjustment by the client. So sometimes it happens that the patient thinks they can do more than they really can. And when you say allowed, then they can increase the speed, in this case, whatever they want. But if you want them to strictly follow the protocol, you can click this one, restricted. That means it doesn't matter what button they push on the end motion in this case, there will be no change in speed or angle or whatever. So we restrict it because we don't trust Niels. And then we have that, and then we can do okay. Then we go back to the bike for the cooling down for 10 minutes and click here, cooling down. Also restricted, you can't change anything, add. And then this is my training protocol for Niels. So we add it to the training sessions. And as you see here, this is one training session ready to put on the training card. In order for you to prevent that you have to make this program every time, you can go to copy training. You can click as many times you want. So there are 8 trainings ready for use for Niels. So for today, he will go to do this training. So we click here, create training card. Take the card, put the card in, create training card. And the training is ready for the card. Niels goes with this card to the bike, inserts the card into the bike. Program is running. 9 minutes later, you get a pop-up on the menu of the bike. It says go to the end motion. He does his routine on the end motion. Gets a mentioning after that you have to go back to the bike. And when he has done the bike, he get a message go to the PC. Now, when he goes back to the PC, insert the card in the card reader, and all the data that Niels has been performing is stored in his database. Then this one will turn green as being done, performed. Next time Niels is coming, only thing you have to do, you click on, for example, you're busy with other people. Niels is coming into the clinic. You click on Niels. Click on Niels. Click on the second training. Create training card. Put the card in. So, and Niels is ready for the second training. Yeah. If you want to see how it looks like when the trainings have been done, we can go to another guy called Jan Training. They see the trainings that have been completed. And when the test is completed, an exercise, you can also see there's an extra tab appearing, training results. And that is then interesting also for everybody to see if a patient makes progress or not. If you can make progress visible with a line diagram or whatever, then it's very motivating for a patient. So if you go to training results, in this case, you can see, okay, now this person has made progress in all these exercises. And I can see where I have to go. Okay, then I go to generate graphs. And here you see all the results. Sorry?
Je kan ook op je scherm zelf kijken.
Oh, I can look at my own screen. That's even handier.
Yeah.
So here you can also click what you want to see on the print. If you say, I'm not interested in training volume, you untick this box, and then the results are not visible. For example, if I want to see the average speed, it's not interesting. I take it, the time, it's not interesting. Then it's not visible. So if I want to generate a report, here you can also see is where every box which is ticked will be visible on the report. So if you're referring clinic, you're not interesting. The notes are not interesting. So then you can you click create, and then you will get the report. So this is the report that you are then printing. There's all the data, and there's of course the one repetition, that is the base value. This one, the first time, you see that the patient is getting better and better. And that's what patients and you, of course, want to see. And with all the units that are tested in this case, you can see the results. And now I have to go back again. So this is then the training results. And I don't know if personally, I think it's very simple and very quick. As the moment you have this up and running, your test and measurement favorites and your training favorites, everything can be done very quickly. Because if I, for example, this one, want to make a training, you can also, you have the protocol toolbox. Niels spoke last week about these models, I believe. The
6-phase, yeah.
The classic model, the 6-phase model, that you can also use, of course. Now, if I want for this patient Jan Janssen, make a training based on, let's say, high velocity strength, then this is the protocol. And you want that as a training, I say add, and then you can choose, okay, what units do I want to use for this training? Now, let's say this one, save. Then this is the protocol, in this case, for this patient, with this, what was it now? What strength was it? I forgot. High velocity strength. Yeah. And then you can choose yourself. You can choose this one. And everyone you see here, that is like from the, like every protocol, it's adjustable. This is what is in the literature. Yeah. But if you want to say, I want to change it, and here you can see between what parameters you can change, because if you go over 50, you get into a different phase. So to stay in this local endurance phase, you can change between 30 and 50% and between 20 and 40 repetitions, or between 3 and 6 series. You can see you cannot get higher or lower than the 3 and the 6. So between these margins, you are free to adjust as per your own knowledge or wishes. The same with the cardio toolbox. You got aerobic fitness, fat burning, and for endurance, extensive and intensive. And you can see always what the levels are. Fat burning, extensive, intensive. So these two protocols are already made. Favorites are prepared only with the equipment toolbox. Let's say you're basically, with every protocol you're free to adjust, but with this one you can tailor make your own protocols. I hope everything is clear. And like always, if you have questions or there are problems or whatever you want to know, never hesitate to ask. We're here to answer all questions. But like with every software program, it doesn't matter if you have Photoshop or Entrain, you really learn it and you get really quick with it if you work with it. Just spend an afternoon by yourself, creating the cards, do a test, store the test, make a training protocol, and you'll be surprised how fast it can go. You don't need, a lot of people are afraid that if you are working with a software program, then a patient comes in, I'm in 15 minutes, I'm making a protocol, and it's too time consuming. Which is, I hope that I made it clear that it doesn't need to take time. If you prepare the program well, you can, within 5 seconds, you can prepare a training card or a test card for a patient. So, when there are no more questions, all the best, and I hope you use it well. And hopefully, in the future, Niels and I can come by to see how it goes in practice. And perhaps we can give some tips and tricks. Goodbye.